Hey guys, it's Snowbiter, and it's been quite a while, but I'm finally back to doing World of Tanks commentaries. I think it's probably been around 2 years or so since I last posted a commentary, but I just recently started playing WoT again around a couple weeks ago, and I did want to get back into posting videos to YouTube and doing commentaries. I've already posted a couple of videos to YouTube, and so for this video, I've got a replay that I had with the Leopard 1 about a week ago or so. That I wanted to show you guys. This is a game on steps. I've definitely been a bit rusty since I started playing again, so it'll probably take me a little while to get back close to the playing level I was at before. There are definitely things I feel like I have to relearn. Not everything is, I mean, a lot of things haven't really changed, but I actually didn't even realize, for example, it took probably like 4 or 5 games playing the Leopard before I realized that its gun alpha had been buffed to 420. So that was a bit of a welcome surprise, but there are a bunch of new tanks that I'm not familiar with. There are some new maps, and even some of the older maps have been changed around a little bit since I last played. So I've got to become familiar with all the different locations on those maps that you can go to. And I also feel like just in general, I kind of have to figure out the meta again on the different maps, especially at tier 10. At lower tiers, there isn't always a clear meta, but at tier 10, it definitely takes a little while to figure out, how things typically go on each map. But anyway, I figured I might talk a bit about that relearning process in this video. It seemed kind of weird for me to just immediately go right back to talking through my thought process, and I will do a little bit of that in this replay. But hopefully, going through some of that relearning might actually be a little bit helpful in these commentaries, just as I talk about things that I've noticed either in this specific game or just as I've been playing in general. Anyway, other than doing my daily doubles on some lower tier tanks, I've been playing a lot of the Leopard 1, mostly just because it's a tank I enjoy. It's fast, it has great gun handling, and it's also a tank that rewards patience. I found when I first started playing again that I was being way too aggressive, and the Leopard is a tank that's both pretty squishy and also really excels at sniping, so you're kind of incentivized to play it more passively, which has definitely helped me just be more methodical in my play, so you'll definitely see some of that in this replay. Anyway, I'll get this replay started. I don't want to talk too much here at the start of this video, but Steps is one of those maps that hasn't really changed too much since I stopped playing. I'm not totally used to the changes it got from the graphics update a few years ago, but it mostly still plays the same as I remember it. Although one of the things I used to like to do a lot with fast meds on this map was to scout the middle of the map around E4, or if I was on the other spawn from around F6. But the first few games that I played on this map, when I tried doing that same thing, I mostly just got counter-scouted and blown up. And with all the light tanks running around, I quickly figured out that, especially with the Leopard, I'm much better off being passive at the start. So you'll see here, I decided to just kind of post up near my spawn and see if there are any shots I can take on things that the light tanks in my team light. So I did actually get one shot into that EBR, got a shot of the STB, and then I actually saw this EBR hadn't delit, and he was coming back towards the middle, and happened to catch him as he crested that hill before he went unlit. So that was a satisfying kill to get. The EBR is one of the tanks that actually is new since I stopped playing, and I have to say, I find it pretty irritating to try to deal with. The first few games I played, I mean actually probably for like the first week I played, I found it like impossible to hit that tank when it was moving. It's so mobile, and the tracks absorb a lot of shots, so it can be really, really frustrating to try to hit. But I did actually hit it twice there at the start. And once I got that kill, I decided to relocate here. The enemy had pushed up a bit on the eastern flank, so I wanted to try to help my teammates here and make sure that they didn't get overrun. This position by A7 is a relatively new spot from that graphics update, so I'm not totally used to playing with this area yet. But I think because they added a defensive position like this, and you sort of have a similar spot that the other side can use around F0, but it feels like this area of the map has slowed down a lot. It used to be that the eastern flank on Steps was just a massive brawl at the beginning of the game, but with these new defensive positions, it just makes it much harder to push without being punished, so you get a lot more of this ridge poking gameplay, and it slows down the development of this side of the map quite a bit. So, I'm trying to peek using this bush as camo so that I don't get immediately spotted, and I think I got one shot into that pattern, but I'm not really getting any good shots here, and not much is really happening on this side of the map. So I'm looking at other things I can do. Then our EBR actually does a spotting run through the middle, so I get a shot into that KPZ a little further back. But it's not looking like anything is really going to happen in this side of the map, so I decide I'm going to relocate back to the middle, and I was hoping here that I wouldn't get spotted, but I think that Patton just lit me there when he poked the ridge a little bit, so unfortunately the enemy team knows now that I'm relocating. But I decided to relocate here back to kind of where I was at the start of the game. In case the EBR did another spotting run like that, I wanted to be in a position where I can get shots, and you'll notice on the minimap that the enemy mouse actually got lit kind of back around G8 or so, and so I want to be in a position, if he's trying to keep pushing up through the middle of the map, I want to be in a position to get shots on him. I was hoping that the EBR on my team would continue spotting the middle of the map, but as it turns out, it looks like he decides to go help the western flank, and I'm not really sure, to be honest, what he's trying to do over there. But once I see that, I decide to try to just spot the middle of the map myself, because I'm not going to really be that useful with nothing lighting for me just sitting back here in this bush. And I don't want to give up middle control. I want to make sure that we have information about what's going on in that area, and then especially with the mouse getting lit back there, there's a chance he may just try to push straight across the field. So I want to try to have as much advance warning as possible if he does try to do that. So I decided to push up the middle road to this bush around E4 or E5 and see what I light when I peek up here. So sure enough, I light the mouse and the STB-1 moving up towards that rock, and I get a shot into the STB-1 and obviously get lit in return. But now the nice thing about this position is that I can just keep spotting the STB and mouse as they push forward, and I can use this bush to get free shots into both of them because, as long as I'm careful about how I go into the bush, I'm not going to get lit until I actually shoot. And then once I do take the shot, I'll get lit, but I can reverse back into cover without getting hit in return. So I get another shot into the STB, and now I make a bit of a mistake here. You can see I'm pretty indecisive about what I want to do. I started to retreat toward my cap circle, but then I decided to go back to the bush again, which I think was a bit of a mistake. I was kind of being a little greedy. One of the things I actually didn't notice at the time, or I didn't notice until I watched the replay back, was that a few moments earlier the enemy Progetto had been spotted retreating from the east along with a couple other enemy tanks, so I probably should have suspected that they might be looping around to deal with me, especially because I'm in a fairly exposed position. I actually decided to move forward a little bit here because I wanted to get a kill shot on that STB, but then the Progetto shows up, and with his semi-autoloader he puts 3 shots into me in quick succession. I do get a couple of shots into him in return, so it's not an awful trade, but now I'm in a really bad position, and I need to just get out of here and hope for the best. To be honest, I thought I was dead here. The mouse has an easy shot on me as I retreat, so now I'm a one-shot for pretty much anything on the enemy team. And I was worried the Progetto might peek out again to try to take me out, but fortunately I'm able to get back around into cover before that happens. And now I just want to put as much distance as possible between myself and the enemy tank, since I pretty much need to go the rest of the game without getting hit. My team is down 3 tanks, which obviously isn't great, but we're still holding on the west, and it doesn't look like the enemy is pushing down the eastern flank anymore around the 9-0 line. So I'm thinking if I can get into a position where I have cross shots on the enemy tanks that are pushing toward our base, then we should be okay. I actually get spotted there as I was trying to get out of view range moving towards the west. I was a little surprised about that. I think my turret must have just been poking about the railroad track, so I was a little nervous about Artie, which is why I make that abrupt shift in direction. I was just trying to be kind of unpredictable in case Artie was aiming at me. And then once I'm sure I'm delit, I decide to poke up and see if I can get shots on that Progetto and the mouse. So I get one shot on the Progetto. Unfortunately, I'm ammo racked here, which is a little annoying. And for some reason, I actually didn't immediately repair my ammo rack once my repair kit became available. I think I just forgot about it. But with the Leopard's accuracy, it's actually not too much of an issue with the way the mouse is angled to hit his lower plate. So I get a shot into his lower plate. I decide to preemptively load heat just in case. I want to be sure that I pen all my shots at this stage of the game. And because I am getting lit every time I take a shot, I'm not fully out of view range. I'm still a little concerned about Artie, which is why I keep moving around after every shot. I just want to make sure that Artie doesn't get a chance to own in on my position. Although I will say that, it may just be coincidence, but once I found out about the anonymized nickname feature, I do feel like that makes a pretty big difference. I've definitely noticed a a difference in how often I get focused, both in general and by Artie specifically, with that on. But anyway, I got one more shot into the mouse, and then our Artie is able to take him out. The enemy KPZ, it looks like it gone and flanked our Tortoise, so I was going to go help finish him off, and I saw the Progetto crest that hill again, so I took a bit of a snapshot on him, which missed, and then the Progetto on my team is able to take out the KPZ before I get there. So all of a sudden now we're actually in pretty good shape. It's just a matter of cleaning up the few remaining tanks on each flank. I think the tanks on my team had enough HP left that even though we were down a few tanks, we were able to hold and turn the game around pretty quickly. So I got a shot into that AE phase 1. I was in a bit of an awkward position. I think I wasn't really, not sure if I wasn't expecting to get spotted or what, but I wanted to make sure that since there is an enemy grill somewhere that hasn't been lit, that I didn't get hit by the grill there when I took that shot. And of course there's still the chance of Artie hitting me, but anyway, both the AE phase 1 and the Waffle get taken out, so now that this game is pretty much over, there the enemy grill gets spotted near his base, so I get a couple more shots of damage off here towards the end. But anyway, you know, I think this game is a pretty good demonstration of what the Leopard is really capable of. This is kind of a perfect situation for the Leopard. It was a relatively slow-paced game, which gave me time to flex around the map a little bit and keep relocating so that I could be in a position where I felt like my gun was going to be most effective. And then, you know, even towards the end there where I lost a lot of HP, I was still able to do some damage because of how good the Leopard's gun handling is. It's such a blast to play this tank. And even when you're low HP, you can still be effective. So, I mean, obviously this game wasn't amazing or anything. I think I get one more shot of damage here, so I end up with a little less than 7k damage. But there were definitely some points over the course of the game where, you know, I was a little indecisive, and I think I definitely made a mistake there in the middle of the game where I ended up losing a ton of HP to that Progetto and the mouse. But hopefully this game was interesting to watch, and, you know, I feel like I'm slowly starting to get back into the feel of playing this game after a couple years off. As I mentioned earlier, I've been playing quite a bit of the Leopard 1, so you'll probably see at least another few replays with this tank over the course of the next few weeks, and hopefully I'll start branching out to other tanks as well as I just start to get more comfortable. So anyway, there's the end of the replay, and now I'll show you guys the post-game stats. And here are the post-game stats. I only ended up with a second class badge, I think mainly just because so much of the damage I did I wasn't actually spotting for myself. But, you know, still a pretty solid game. I got a high caliber and a tank sniper, which just kind of goes to show you how much of the damage I was doing from long range. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to try to keep doing commentaries somewhat regularly and just get back into the habit of doing these. So look out for some more videos, some more commentaries on my channel in the next few weeks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.